Sup, me again, for some reason. Now, I love being alone. Being alone is pretty cool. But it comes with some side effects, to say the least. Things are hard. Things are pretty hard for a woman. But let's see times they were harder, you know? Today I'm listing seven things women couldn't do that now we can. And that was only last century. With no further ado, because I'm kind of tired, let's get started. Our first place, and it's the most though, is voting rights. It was only in 1900s that women could elect their representatives. But don't you dare think that somebody woke up and thought, hey, wait a second. Women have brains, therefore they can think. So if they can think, then maybe they can elect their own candidates. That's amazing what I just discovered. No. That was the outcome of decades-long protesting, which is a lot known as the suffrage movement. The movement began in the United States and then spread all around the world. This one is easy. This one everybody knows. Let's go to the next one. I personally didn't know. Using birth control. It's not only that using birth control was frowned upon. It's not that they needed the husband's approval. It's that they were prohibited of using birth control. It was considered a taboo. It was only in 1960 that the Food and Drug Administration approved the first oral contraception. But don't you dare think that just because that happened, everything was, oh yay, you get a birth control, you get birth control, everybody gets birth control. No. Several states failed to befit the mandate. Lightning, you stop. Stop! Think. It was only in 1965 that Supreme Court prohibited the states of prohibiting. Ruled that the states could not prohibit the use of contraception. Yes, I made it. By the way, I searched where our phallic condoms that we know nowadays started to get used. They exist since 1835. Sanctioning a business loan without a male consigner. And that was just a few decades ago, a woman could not get a business loan without the signature of a man. And it's not that the man that was supposed to be a man evolved in the business. No, it could be your mailman, it could be your waiter, it could be anybody. The only thing that mattered was his gender. There even is a pretty awesome Brazilian Netflix show called Coisa Mais Linda, Most Beautiful Thing, that talks about the subject. It talks about a lot of this stuff. I really recommend it. But anyway, in 1998, I mean, a lot of you were already born, a lot of you were being born. Born. I don't think born is the right word here, but let's forget it. Congressman John LaFonce introduced the HR 5050, also known as the Women's Business Ownership Act. I guess I'm looking at the screen. The bill empowered women to get the equitable access to resources, even if they had the mailman to sign for it or not. Working while being pregnant. Okay, we all know there is still a lot of stigma around the woman being pregnant, that she will not work as well. Are you kidding me? We're women. We were born multitasking. As soon as we get born, we'll yell at the doctor, we yell at our mother, and we're already changing our own diaper. That's how women work. But before 1978, a woman would actually be humiliated and fired for just being pregnant. They were considered to be less productive, and they were going to distract the staff. Because they never seen a pregnant woman before.
Oh my God, I must not come with numbers. I must look at the belly.
That forced them to take an unpaid maternity leave, which of course brought to them a lot of stress, even more stress, because being pregnant must be the most stressful thing ever. I don't want it. God, please, I don't want it. Not only that, a lot of states had laws banning pregnant women to work. In 1978, the Pregnancy Discrimination Act put an end to all of this. Possessing an individual passport. Yeah, that's right. But in the 1900s, after the You know, our first big word combat. I don't know what YouTube would do if I say the actual words, okay? They were standardized or already know worldwide passport, but the League of Nations is what it was before the UN. They say like,
okay, we should put some order in this mess. Everybody agree?
and the countries were like,
Okay, fine, let's all do this.
but in the new passport laws, married women were issued joint passports with their husband's name. And it doesn't say here, but I'm pretty sure that the single ones, or they couldn't travel, or they had to be their father's signature. Because a woman traveling on their own was inconsiderable. What is she doing walking on her own? It was in 1937 that the Department of the State circulated an announcement dismissing this whole thing. But come reflect with me, come think with me for a while. We all know that nowadays we used to have this, you shouldn't be alone because it's dangerous, it's a very dangerous world. But back then, yes, of course, there were a lot of bad things going on. But, street violence weren't as bad as today. Compared to today, it wasn't that bad. So I don't know what they were thinking that a woman going alone. No, women can go out on their own. They go astray. They will then get wild and go. Oh man, is that what they thought it was going to happen? Wearing pants. And I'm not just talking about how it was frowned upon. No, in the 1900s, women were actually barred from wearing pants. And a lot of states passed legislation considering women wearing pants an illegal offense. But these rules won't exactly follow, because let's face it, pants are a lot more comfortable. But the fashion industry helped to put an end to all of this. Designers like Coco Chanel began to put pants in their, what's the name of it? Collections. And movie stars were also starting to use it with an elegant, vibe, like Marlene Gringos have such weird last names. Marlene Dietrich. You know when all that kind of happened? In the 50s. And then after that, people started to accept that, hey, maybe it isn't a big deal if women are wearing pants. I don't know what they thought either before that.
Oh my god. She's an orange, she has legs.
Serve as permanent members of the military. After our conjoined war combat, women were holding a lot of significant positions as in nursing, communication service, and clerical work. It was only in 1948 with the Women's Armed Services Integration Act is that they began to receive military benefits, which started to get similar to the male counterpart. So it wasn't the same even, but at least they started to. In 1976, West Point opened its doors to women who wanted to enjoy the academy. Enjoy the academy. In only 2013, it was yesterday basically, the Pentagon hit a ban that prevented women to go to frontline combat. Okay, now let's again stop and reflect a little. Why am I making this video? I'm not making this for knowledge, most women know all of this. Women know it's hard to be a woman. No. This video is to shut the fuck up for anybody who says that sexism isn't real. Some people who lived through these pinpoints that I enlisted are still alive. There weren't enough time to society to evolve to sexism don't be a real thing. And when it comes to black women, the situation gets even worse. And we all know there are a lot of countries who didn't want to keep up with the progress. In my country, you still cannot enlist in an army if you're a woman. Would I do it? No, hell no. But I wanted to deny it by adoption. I guess this video could also be some kind of celebration, like look how far we've come. And to know that in the future, things might get better if we keep fighting. But because everything is so recent and so new, we may have to make some noise to be heard. So let's be really fucking loud. Anyway, that was this week's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe out here if you wanna get more of this content, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Now go dancing, little dance. Not to bring in the wire. Woo!